Hey Space Nerds, it is Tuesday Newsday. Alpha 4.9 is still live, it's got hot fixes added, and the Foundation Festival is running on top of it along with Twitch drops going on, the guide system being used, and a free fly that is still running. I've played 40 plus hours of this, and I've got some thoughts. But also Alpha 4.10 is all waves open on the PTU for testing, including Siege of Orison, the new Arlington lever-action rifle, in-person Recco Battaglia, generally a focus on instancing tech. I'm going to cover it all for you right now. Foundation Festival officially started July 29th. It brought the guide system over to the launcher, which is one step closer to getting it in-game, which is what we want. It's what the social tools showed us years ago, and hopefully they can do that soon, because you shouldn't have to leave the game to get help with the game. Unfortunately, while they have improved the guide system, adding rewards to using it means that people are using it for the rewards and not so much to teach, and that has led to it being a little lopsided. Now, I'm going to be really interested in seeing what happens with this system after we leave the Foundation Festival and we get to see it in the wild, but for now, at least getting it into the launcher has made it easier to message and see when somebody's available and get introduced to a guide, and that's good stuff. Now, the ship Showdown also entered Phase 1. Vessel Mania is what they're calling it, and it's a chance to let you make content to support your favorite ship. You can help it get into the top 16, and they will pick some of the entries that helped do that and give you guys free stuff, I guess, for getting the best, most pretty full song or picture or video about the ship you love. Give it a shot. Also, as I mentioned at the top of the video last week, we did a 40-hour streamathon where we did a whole bunch of different types of gameplay. Luckily, it was after the maintenance, so it ran a little bit better. I mainly was actually enjoying the improved mining and scanning that they've added to 4.9, which lets people get along with the process a little bit faster, but I also saw some action out at Ashland in Pyro. Both of those things were still plagued by the occasional bug. You're not going to get away from that, but 10pound42, friend and editor on the channel, has reported rising frame rates, as I said, in the game in 4.9, and I wasn't gnashing my teeth constantly at glitches, so things are definitely better than 4.8. I also hosted a ship show last week for my org, and we tried to check out the flyby sounds that were added in 4.9, but I think we overloaded the audio channels and broke the ability to hear any ship sounds, so that was a disappointment. Still, it is pretty cool to see the vast amount of variety we're getting from ships in the game now, both small and large. It was nice to see them all surrounding us like that. After the ship show, the org took their shaking butts over to Hathor to see if that was working. Can confirm it is, and it still attracts the usual threats who are flying in trying to bomb you and ram your ship and do whatever. It is risky, but it's fun. And I also confirmed that Stormbreaker is not working. When is it ever? And we tried out tactical strike groups. That was a good amount of fun. We got some new players in there, tried out a fleet battle, and got some good loot out of it. The new CQ7 kept me company for this whole thing, but funny enough, the game couldn't even give me ammo for it because it was sold out at stores across the verse. And of course, the game's not going to make any new cargo contracts for people to deliver this lovely, necessary ammunition to these distraught space stations that are completely unsupplied. Quantum when. Over the course of this whole play session, the game felt stable enough for 2 to 5 hour play sessions with groups of people, which is saying something for Star Citizen. I only crashed to desktop, I think, one time, and I didn't have very many server errors either. I did have regular desync constantly. I was constantly falling through spaceships and having to sit down in chairs to get them to re-see my existence. And I did fall through a planet one time in Stanton, which I just don't expect there, so that was annoying. This was still the best sustained window of gameplay I've had in months. It's not saying much, but it is an upwards trajectory that I hope they keep improving for 4.10. Speaking of which, let's talk about that. All PTU waves went open on 4.10 over the weekend, and I did get to try hands-on with Recco Battaglia's mission set and her contract line. It's really nothing new, unfortunately, at least design-wise. This is a test bed for instancing a person. Not even the missions are instanced. There's not really much narrative added to it besides the small voice introduction we have now. I will say this, last week, Recco Battaglia was tentative, so it's very possible that at later PTU waves, we're going to see new missions added in that are a bit more narrative, so hold the phone on that. But as of right now, it feels more of a half step up than a full step I was hoping with mission givers. That being said, This does show we're going to be getting more mission givers probably delivered this way. This isn't a design change yet, but it's a tech change that will allow for one. This is an MVP for what will likely be the most common way that players receive narrative contracts from the factions that we deal with in the future. All those people who are calling you on your phone, they'll probably be instanced in this way as well. It feels small right now, but I do think it's going to be pretty important. The progression contains 7 contracts you can take. They range from scanning minerals to collecting minerals to boarding ships and killing pirates that were attacking people that were getting minerals. It's an interesting selection, but over the progression through the rep, the mission selection will expand up to 10 to allow you to get rewards like a mole, a golem, or a prospector. Again, it's not really groundbreaking in terms of the mission design itself, but this acts as a pretty solid introduction to mining, which does make it a little bit weird that it shows up in Nyx. Either way, it's a good start. It shows you what you should do to find minerals, where you can find them, which ones are rare versus common, how to mine and crack them, extract them, and then it actually lets you keep a lot of them. I think this is probably the kind of thing they're going to do with all kinds of gameplay in the game as a way to give people tutorials to learn how to play in the PU. And I will have my whole segment going through these missions summarized for you over on the Space Tomato Live channel later today. Now we've also got the Arlington Lever Action Rifle that's been released into the 4.10 PTU. I've gotten plenty of action with this lever action, high caliber, hybrid shotgun DMR style rifle in close and far instances of combat. It's pretty fun to use, feels a little overpowered, very aesthetically polarizing, and it's got people excited for cowboy hats and boot spurs and Serenity. I'm into it, to be honest, but I am interested in seeing how it gets balanced because you can switch from long range to short range very easily without very many penalties, and it hits pretty hard. We also got a teaser for the Kruger Stingray, the new ship coming with Alpha 4.10. This is an unannounced vehicle that we've been tracking on the ship tracking ship sheet. Every time a monthly report comes out, we'll be hitting that this week actually. And I covered it in detail yesterday. You can go and check that out for more information. All I can say is I hope this is the generalist ship they were talking about at the end of last year, because Kruger makes some nice stuff, but I want to see something a little bigger from them. Finally, instancing, really the big focus of 4.10. While I'm not sure of the details of this, I can confirm it's working pretty well and seamlessly in the PTU right now, and it does seem like outside of the usual Star Citizen performance issues, this is going to offer some pretty reliable play for people, something that folks have not really been able to get that much from Star Citizen over time. Siege of Orison actually allowed me to get started in the mission, leave the area, and then come back and pick up where I had left off. This could be a better way for people to play who have limited time. Get started with your contract, leave, sign off, go along with your day, and then come back later. I haven't really confirmed if this does save progress across sessions, but we'll see soon enough. To discuss this development in Star Citizen, I sat down with Grollo on the launch sequence last week to talk about how it's been applied to the game, whether this is the next step for server meshing, and whether they are kind of scaling back the dream of Star Citizen. I'll leave that link down below for you. It's actually a pretty interesting talk. Now, for the upcoming week. On Tuesday, the subscribers will be getting their newsletter for August, and whatever interesting bits come with that, I'm sure we'll see it eventually. But that's not really the exciting part this week. On Wednesday, at 4 p.m. UTC, we're getting Star Citizen Live. It's a weirdly different time, but I'm guessing they're doing it because of how schedules work out. It's going to be a 2-hour developer commentary on Siege of Orison. This is the biggest thing happening this week. If you want the clearest look at what instancing actually is doing for Star Citizen, short-term and long-term, like how much are they really going to apply this to the game, this is where you're probably going to get it. And of course, we'll do our own watch of it on Wednesday or on Thursday maybe, and you can see what we have to say about it as a community. While the talk with Grollo was good about this, you're going to want to hear about this from the source and kind of how it pertains to the rest of the game. This is arguably some of the most important news we're going to be getting about Star Citizen the entire year. This week on Wednesday, the monthly report for July also lands, which is going to be a pretty interesting one. Some behind-the-scenes progress across all of the studios in the company. Highlights to look out for this month will be Starkitect, a major possible addition this year that changes the design of the game and how dense content is going to be. Item recovery movement, which is a system that continues to plague a lot of the way that this game works, and the mentions of refining, advances in crafting, or really any advanced industrial gameplay would be important to see tracking towards this part of the year if we want to see anything by the end of the year. Besides that, on Friday, the RSI Weekly newsletter is coming out. Not sure if there'll be anything else there, but we'll keep an eye out for it. And this weekend, they're hosting some Bar Citizens in London, Helsinki, Atlanta, and the Philippines. Worth going if they're in your area. Usually you can meet some people, possibly a dev or two. Also this week, Fighter Flight signups are starting up for $29.56. Atmo Esports throws some of the best events in Star Citizen, including the Daymar Rally, which I cover pretty regularly every year. It's a 3v3 dogfighting tournament that has a lot of pretty good skill in it. If you like flying and you think you can get involved, I would check it out. It has been running for years, so you're going to get a good experience out of it and a chance to win some prizes and obviously some more community time. And of course, the free fly is still running. If you haven't been able to check out Star Citizen before, you can make a new account going to jointomato.com. That will get you a free account, which gets you access to the game until August 10th. And if you like it, consider grabbing a starter package, and then you'll have the Foundation Festival to get some more extra rewards from August 12th. If you are still looking for a group to get in game with, ask questions, or simply learn more during this Foundation Festival, consider my work, the Garden and Interstellar Initiative, GII. You can get a look at almost any type of gameplay in Star Citizen with some pretty cool folks from mostly all around the world, I think. And that about wraps it up. We are pretty much confirmed on 4.10 inclusions, save for that Recco Battaglia confusion we have. We have teasers of Starware possibly coming in 4.11 in September. The game's performance has started to step up from 4.8, but there's still plenty wrong and plenty that needs to be done. So we'll see how things go. Still no sign of whether CIG can pull Star Citizen out of the new players slump it's experiencing. And what I mean when I say new players slump is generally looking at May. There was a distinct drop in new players coming into the game that I think happened because the game is just not super inviting for a new player right now. So can they get the game into a generally better experience? They're off to a decent start, but we'll see. I'll be interested in hearing your experiences with Siege of Orison in this new format in the comments down below, because this is quite a change for the game. It's polarizing, but it is accessible, so we should get to better understand how urban FPS gameplay can actually look and how they can build it better in the future for maybe the municipal works later. Still no news about Squadron 42 either, which is crazy. And it's confirmed that CIG's presence at Gamescom is just going to be a Bar Citizen at a local bar. So who knows when they'll be cluing us into that plan. I hope you enjoyed this Tuesday Newsday. Subscribe for a new one every week if you want to get more news on Star Citizen and eventually other space games. And I'll catch you in the next.